This photograph captures Claude Monet in his Giverny studio during the 1920s, working on a scale that borders on the architectural. He is in his 80s, producing canvases that are 6 meters wide, but he is working through a physical fog. Cataracts have compromised his vision to the point that he is nearly blind in one eye, while the other filters the entire world through a murky yellow blur. The paintings he produces in this state appear chaotic and overworked to contemporary critics. He has abandoned the horizon line, the sky, and any sense of solid ground. This creates a strange tension in the studio. The artist who built a career on the mechanics of sight is now creating his most radical work as his own vision fails him. To understand how he arrived here, we have to go back to mid-19th century France. The Académie des Beaux-Arts followed a strict methodology. Serious art was created indoors, painted strictly from memory, focused on stable physical objects. Within this system, light was a utilitarian tool. It served only to illuminate the historical figures or landscapes that formed the proper subject of a painting. That tradition broke for Monet when he met the landscape painter Eugene Boudon on the Normandy coast. Boudon insisted that Monet take his easel outside to paint directly in the weather, en plein air. Looking at the cliffs and the sea, Monet realized the Academy's studio-bound approach was missing the point. The coastline was not a fixed, solid form. It shifted and vibrated with every change in the Atlantic light. He began a lifelong attempt to capture that instability, the challenge of pinning the moving experience of sight onto a static piece of canvas. That pursuit came at a heavy cost. Through the 1870s, the official Salon system repeatedly rejected his work. He lived in severe poverty, writing letters to friends like Zola and Monet, begging for the money to buy food or more paint. The obsession with perception became involuntary. When his wife Camille died in 1879, Monet found himself reflexively analyzing the shifting blue and gray tones in her face. His painter's eye was recording color even in the depths of his own grief. In 1874, he helped organize an independent exhibition outside the Salon. He showed a loose, atmospheric painting of the Le Havre harbor in the morning mist, titled Impression Sunrise. He used rapid, broken brushstrokes to capture the vibrancy of the light. He also applied color theory to his shadows. Instead of using blacks or browns, he constructed them entirely from saturated blues, violets, and greens. Critics mocked the work as an impression, but Monet leaned into the term. The subject of the painting was no longer the harbor itself, but the neurological sensation of seeing it. By the late 1880s, Monet's methodology evolved. He began treating light as the primary material of visual experience, rather than something that simply falls upon objects. He started working on multiple canvases simultaneously. He would set up his easels in a field and rotate between them as the sun moved, spending exactly 1 hour on a specific quality of light before switching to the next canvas. Monet used the stone facade of Rouen Cathedral as a fixed constant for this study. He spent 2 years painting the same view from a window across the street. The architecture functioned as a measuring stick. Against the unmoving stone, he recorded the infinite variability of the sun, the pink of dawn, the blinding white of noon, and the gold of late afternoon. These series established a new rule for his work. An object viewed at noon and that same object viewed at dusk are effectively 2 different subjects. Financial success eventually allowed Monet to build an outdoor laboratory in Giverny. He engineered the foliage and water gardens with the same precision he brought to his canvases, curating the color and the play of light through the trees. But even this controlled environment couldn't stop the progression of his cataracts. By 1912, his vision was seriously compromised, and by the 1920s, he was seeing the world in shades of yellow and red. After surgery in 1923, he was distressed to find that the colors he had used while visually impaired were distorted. He began a frantic process of reworking his canvases to align them with his restored sight. This struggle with his own biology pushed him toward his final breakthrough. Without the ability to rely on sharp physical details, his work moved toward total abstraction. In his final Water Lily series, Monet removed the horizon line and the sky. The frame was filled entirely with the surface of the pond. water, reflections, and lily pads, with no solid ground to anchor the viewer. The panels were enormous, some stretching 6 meters wide. He worked on them in a custom-built studio designed specifically to handle the physical scale of the project. These massive panels function as an environment. The viewer is surrounded by color, losing the sense of looking at a distinct object on a wall. He donated the suite to the French state, where they were installed in oval rooms at the Orangerie. This immersive approach would eventually become a direct precursor to the color-field paintings of the mid-20th century. Monet's career moved the focus of Western art from the what to the how. He spent 86 years proving that the act of perceiving a haystack or a lily pond provides everything necessary for a masterpiece.